This meeting is being held in conformance with the Sunshine Law. Notice of time, date, and place has been furnished to the Bergen Record and the Ridgewood News. Notice has also been posted on the Bulletin Board of the Administration Building. Would the clerk kindly take the roll?
Mayor Giordano.
Here.
Mr. Bjork.
Here.
Ms. Saracola.
Here.
Mr. Ritchie.
Here.
Mr. Schatz. Mr. Shalero.
Here.
And Mrs. Sherman.
Here.
Everyone kindly rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance. Let us have a moment of silence for all our Waldeck veterans and all veterans across our country who have given the ultimate sacrifice to keep us free so that we can have meetings like we're having today. And I'd like also to have a moment of silence for a ex-police officer in the borough of Waldeck who was also a firefighter in the borough, Mr. Eugene Smith, who passed away last week. Clerk, take us through the prayer.
We thank you for everyone gathered here now. Thank you that you know each of us by name and have caused us to walk with you. We say that we are dependent on you and our trust is in you completely. As we surrender ourselves with your adoration, we ask that you would come by your Holy Spirit and inspire our hearts today. Come fill our lives with your love, fill our conversation with your grace and truth, fill this meeting with your presence. We ask this for your glory and praise. Amen.
Good evening, everyone. After we have our meeting, we will take a 2-minute break, and then we will go into our operating budget that we will start tonight. Under the mayor's report, just a couple of items. On Friday, I performed a wedding here in the Chambers, and I'd like to congratulate Karen and Jeff Moffitt, who were married on Friday. Also, this Saturday, I will be attending via Zoom our monthly mayor's meeting. When we meet, we discuss certain things about the towns, and usually after the meeting, I get back to everyone, tell them what it was all about. Also, sometime next week, I'll be doing a ribbon cutting. I'll let the council know when, of the new barbershop. The new barbershop is opening up on Monday. They asked if I could do a ribbon cutting. I told them as soon as you open, then we could have the ribbon cutting, and you could start your business in town. The gentleman is a very generous man. He is doing the first week of his stay here. He is donating the money to an organization in the borough, which I think is very nice. He already spoke to the people about that, and the organization is looking forward to taking his money and welcoming him into our borough. That's all I have to report. Financial Administrative Committee, Mr. Shalero.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Last week, the Finance Committee met with our administrator, our CFO, and our assistant administrator to have a first review of at least the capital portion of the budget. Excuse me. So, by the time the budget gets to the mayor and council, it's already been reviewed by staff, and there have been some items that have been removed from the budget. Some have been added to the budget for us to review. So the Finance Committee decided to let the budget go to the council as presented by the staff, and we'll have a discussion tonight about some of the thoughts that we had on some of the items on the budget, and everybody gets to weigh in on those. So we look forward to that discussion.
Thank you very much. Fire and Police Protection Committee, Ms. Iricola.
Thank you, Mayor. This past Saturday, I attended the New Jersey League of Municipalities Elected Officials Seminar to learn how to become a more effective representative in local government. They presented on a number of topics: budgeting, purchasing, contract negotiation, and Oprah requests were some of them. And it was great to see colleagues from neighboring towns as well as make new connections. For the fire department, the department finished January with 21 total calls. For the final drill of the month, members were on the ice for ice rescue hands-on. That night, our newer members wore our suits for the first time and got to get in the ice as well as in the water to get acclimated with our stuff. Other members refreshed operating procedures, and newer members were practicing rescues with senior members by the end of the night. As for the police department, the headquarters installation project is now complete, and I heard from Chief Messner and Lieutenant Seifert that all of their offices are now warm and toasty. No further report.
Thank you very much. We're very glad they're warm. Public Safety Committee, Mr. Schatz.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. 2 weeks ago, I attended the Volunteer Ambulance Corps meeting, and I just wanted to bring up the number of calls for January. It's 39. And they are looking forward to getting some new members. They have, I think, 2 new members coming onto the Corps, and otherwise, no other report with that. Then I also attended last week the Planning Board, and we approved 3 resolutions, and also were in attendance for 6 applications, which is good news for the Waldwick, the borough of Waldwick, because there's a lot of businesses that are coming back into town. That's all. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Recreation and Health Committee, Mrs. Sherman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a small report tonight. Just reminding everyone that dog licenses are due. Get your pet registered. Late fee starts. Shopping ones are on February 10th in Teterboro and February 16th in Hohokus. So check our website. There's very detailed information of the address and the times and everything. It was sent out in the Nixle this past Friday. So if you're not on the Nixle, sign up. Kelly puts a lot of good information on there. There's also links for COVID, very informative sites. So please check the borough website. I was through the Borough Park a couple times last week. It looks pretty good. The ice during the week was melting. I remind people to stay off of the ice. I saw people on the ice, people with their pets on the ice, and it's really not safe, so just stay off the ice. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Public Works Committee, Mr. Ritchie.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, had contact with Superintendent of Public Works, and he indicated that most of the work right now is salting, plowing. We've had a couple major events with snow, as you know, and salting. As a result, you know, the streets can get some potholes this time of year. It's a tough time of year. It's a tough time of year for a couple of reasons. One, the salt turns up the asphalt. 2, it can be too cold to repatch. They're patching as much as they can, but with the weather it's difficult, and I'm told the patch itself is incredibly expensive this time of year, so they do try to wait. But I was out for a walk this afternoon, and I saw the guys around kind of patching with a hot box, so they're doing it when they can. There was a water main break on Lakeview Drive. That has been repaired, and they will patch when they can. Just following up on a last month's report from the Board of Ed meeting, I am told that given the new state regulations with masks, they're reviewing the rules and regulations, and hopefully we'll be making a decision to or to not remove masks at the school in the near future. So just following up from that last report, and that's all I have this month, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Building and Grounds Committee, Mr. York.
Thank you, Mayor. Not much to report on other than Patrick and I are looking into either repairing or replacing some damaged fence and gate down by the storage area behind the shooting range. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Borough Administrator, Patrick.
No report, thank you.
Our CFO, Colleen. Thank you very much. Borough Clerk Kelly.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have two things. We'll have liquor license training. The state just advised me that our licensee will take part in this training in this spring. The trainings focus on the licensee's responsibilities and the roles of the New Jersey Alcohol Beverage Control as it compares to what our role is. So they'll have Q&A and more detailed curriculum will be provided once it gets set up. Also, at the end of this month, I'll be attending the Bergen County election officials election training for the new machines that we'll be using for this election going forward. So it's a half-a-day seminar on learning how to use the machines and help out where we can in the election. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Grant Administrator Matthew.
No report, Mayor.
Borough Attorney Craig.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to give everybody an update on the parking lot next door. We had a few issues with trying to get the subdivision plat recorded with the county, but I think that everything has been resolved today. So we'll be able to get that filed and then hopefully close within the next month.
Okay, great, thank you.
Knock on wood.
Yep,
That's all, Mr. Mayor.
thank you. Consent resolutions and resolutions of the governing body.
Thank you, Mayor. Be it resolved that the following resolutions herewith listed by consent, having been considered by the governing body of the Borough of Waldwick, are hereby passed and approved with the addition of policy vote E and the removal of resolution 2022-110. 2022-102, approval of consent. 2022-103, approval of minutes, special closed meeting, the closed meeting session, and the regular meeting of January 25th, 2022. Policy votes A, James and Mary Ellen O'Connell, 14 Grove Street, request the approval to replace a fence on property which either borders or is on top of the borough drainage easement. B, Waldwick Football Club, request to use Veterans Park Field from March 1st through July 31st for under 12 practice and games as shown in their January 19 email. C, Mike Leonard, St. Luke Senior Lukens, request to use Pavilion B on June 9th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. for a picnic with alcoholic beverages being served. D, the Waldwick Education Foundation requests to hold a townwide garage sale on Saturday, April 30th, and Sunday, May 1st, and a waiver of garage sale permit fees as outlined in their February 1st letter. E, the village school requests to use the municipal parking lot on February 14th from 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. for a Valentine's Day school event. 2022-104, award a non-fair and open professional service contract to Boswell Engineering for professional land surveying services in the amount of $4,950. 2022-105, award a fair and open-ended contract to Atlantic Salt for rock salt in an amount not to exceed $140,000. 2022-106, award a fair and open contract to Gentilini Motors for purchase of one police vehicle in the amount of $37,567. 2022-107, approval of a person-to-person transfer of liquor license 026433004004 from Amsters to Ital India LLC. 2022-108, approval of vacation days for municipal clerk. 2022-109, authorized refund of a permit fee. And 2022-111, payment of vouchers.
Do I have a motion and a second? Motion by Don, second by Mike. On the question. One question on number D about the townwide garage sale. You'll send a letter to them like we always do, telling what they're requesting and what the requirements are from the
Yes.
borough. Anyone else? Clerk, please take the roll.
Mayor?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Did we master the smart board from our special session now? We were having some problems getting on it?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay. All right. That's it.
Clerk, please take the roll.
Mr. Bjork?
Yes.
Ms. Sericola?
Yes.
Mr. Ritchie?
Yes.
Mr. Schatz?
Yes.
Mr. Shalero?
Yes.
Mrs. Sherman?
Yes.
Adoption of ordinances. Would the clerk read ordinance number 2022-03?
Ordinance number 2022-03, an ordinance amending Chapter 48 fees, Section 42-3.1, dogs late fee, to change the date late fee assessed per dog.
Anyone from the council would like to comment on this ordinance that was just read? What this is Kelly talked about this last meeting. What we're doing is instead of having the deadline in January, it'll be March. That way also residents can have more time to get the shot for the dogs, because sometimes they're not getting them. So now we're just changing it so that it'll be a different month, and all the fees will remain the same. There'll be no change. Anybody else from the council? If not, I close the council's comments. Anybody from the public would like to comment on this ordinance that was just read? If not, I close the public's comments and ask for a motion and a second to pass this on second reading, and that the clerk be authorized to advertise it in local legal newspapers as required by law. Do I have a motion and a second? Motion by Mike, second by Terry. Clerk, take the roll.
Mr. Bjork?
Yes.
Ms. Sericola?
Yes.
Mr. Ritchie?
Yes.
Mr. Schatz?
Yes.
Mr. Shalero?
Yes.
Mrs. Sherman?
Yes.
Anybody from the council have any unfinished business? If not, we're going to skip the new business, and we're going to go into the public's comments. And after the public's comments, we'll take a 2-minute break, and then we'll talk about our municipal budget that we've discussed so far. Anybody from the public would like to comment on anything, please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. Chris Feltman, 46 Hudson Avenue. I have a couple topics I wanted to come up and talk to you all about. The first one, I was actually interested to know if you guys were doing anything for the young man who passed away, J.J. Gilsheimer. Was there any talk about potentially doing a memorial or anything in town?
No one came to us and talked to us about anything.
Okay. Maybe I can reach out. The young man unfortunately passed away the turn of the new year, and he's one of these young men who wear the Waldwick uniform proud, rides his bike all around town. I think it would be a great gesture if the town were to do something for him. I don't even know if it's name his street JJ's Way or whatever in memory of him. Just a thought. Happy to talk to you more about it offline. The second topic I wanted to come up, November I came in, I talked to you all about expectations around Borough Park being a recreational facility for the kids in town. And it's my understanding now that I have my facts right, talking with Patrick, that you renegotiated the baseball contract for 3 years in 2020? Is that right? I think the facts are 2020. Well, what I had down is when we talked, it was 2020 that was renegotiated, and it was 2019 when we were talking about getting the turf redone. And the commitment was to take some of that surplus from the mayor and potentially build out a complex in Borough Park for all of the kids. So I'd like to revisit that. If it's not here, if it should be something I come in and talk to you all about, I'd be happy to do that. I'd love to see the kids in this town, all of the kids in this town, have the opportunity to have something for them instead of just being concerned about the 10% that might be playing baseball and soccer. All right? The third thing that I wanted to come in and talk to you all about, I reached out to you, Patrick, about redoing our road on 46 Hudson Avenue. Hudson Avenue in general, not my house. Sorry. And I saw you came down and you did a couple patches. They're gone now after the plowing. And the road looks terrible. The cul-de-sac looks terrible. It's the cul-de-sac that goes down onto the off-ramp of 17, where people walk up and they go and wait for the buses. I've lived here since 2002. I've seen roads get plowed on 2 different occasions. And I understand that it's a 25-year contract or whatever, where you guys decide whether you're going to come out and redo the roads. And Hudson Avenue hasn't been done since 1989, I think is what we confirmed with the paperwork. And the amount of taxes that I pay, and some of my neighbors are here as well, all feel the same way about having Hudson Avenue redone. I don't want to speak for them, but I'll let you know that I'm interested in having that done this year, and that's why I'm coming in February because when Patrick and I talked, he said that decisions would be made in the winter season on what roads will be paved. Those are my words, not his. That's how I took that conversation. All right? The last topic, plowing in town. I'm curious to know, is it acceptable for borough employees to come down the road on the wrong side of the street plowing at 30 miles an hour? Do we know?
Patrick, you want to, this is the first time someone ever came to us and asked
I
us.
would need to understand more about the circumstances.
Okay. The circumstance is that we had this past snowstorm. I'm out there shoveling my driveway and I'm pushing the snow out. And the plower comes down the street on the wrong side of the street. Pretty quickly, I have it videoed here. And the snow basically comes up and it kicks back up onto my driveway. And then there's complaint about me pushing snow back out into the road. And that's an ongoing debate, right? The snow coming off the road into my driveway, the snow in my driveway going onto the road. But safety, I think, would be the number one concern. And I just wanted to understand what that protocol should look like.
Specific to the snow being plowed from the roadway onto your driveway, the borough code states that as a resident, you cannot shovel snow from your property onto the municipal road. And the snow obviously from the municipal roadway, somewhere it's in the right of way, typically along the curb. And as is typical in every municipality that gets snow, you're gonna have snow covering a portion of your property. And it is a requirement of the borough that you shovel that snow not into the street, onto your, on your driveway, onto your lawn, onto the grass area between the sidewalk and the street. if you have to. As far as the plow driving on the opposite side of the road, I can speak with DPW and see what reasons they have for doing so. I'm sure that our DPW works very hard, and I'm sure that they're not out there joyriding. I imagine if they were riding on the other side of the road, they have purpose for doing so. I can discuss that with you.
Yeah, I think that safety should be the most, or the biggest concern, coming down the wrong side of the road, especially when you have pedestrians out near the road too, coming through, that might be focused on shoveling. I understand the ordinance about shoveling the snow into the road. For me specifically, I can't shovel the snow down the hill where I live because my neighbor's driveway and my driveway connect side by side, and I'm just getting too old to shovel it uphill, right? So we're talking about just a small amount of snow that's coming from the road into the driveway. I'll take care of it. I'll get it into my yard, whatever. My bigger concern is the truck coming down the wrong side of the road at what I would consider a considerable speed, and kicking that snow back up on the driveway where it's already been shoveled, and taking that into consideration. All right. That's all I had. Should I follow up on any of these topics, especially the Borough Park and the memorial around JJ, if there's any interest in his family looking to do something like that?
If
I
the
think it
family
would
wants
be
to
a
do
great
something,
gesture.
they should call us.
I'm sorry?
If the family should get in contact with us, or do you know if they got in contact with the Board of Ed yet to do something? Did he go to that school?
I think they have, but I know you guys operate a little bit differently or separately from what the Board of Ed is doing.
What you could do is just have the family give us a call, and they could call me, and we could discuss, what they're thinking of. In regards to naming a street, we don't do that. That
Okay.
will not be done. The only streets that have been renamed is after veterans that died in wars, and that's a standard practice. But there's other things that we could do, but we have to speak to the family, and if you don't mind, just tell them to give us a call, and we'll be more than happy to talk to them and come to some type of an agreement.
I think that would be amazing.
Good.
It would be a nice gesture for all these kids in town to see that the town is standing behind them.
Well, the town stands behind all our kids, and we stand behind all our public. Thing is, if we don't know about it, then we can't stand behind them. But as I said,
Fair
if the mother and
point.
father come to us, we have no problem listening to them and coming up with some type of an honor for their son.
Should I come to you about the Borough Park?
That you could speak with our administrator, since you've been talking to him about it.
Okay. We had an initial conversation. He shared with me around budget concern and with the renegotiation of baseball, but I'd be glad to revisit that. Thank
Just
you.
tell the mom and the dad to give me a call. They can leave a message on my phone here, and I do pick up the phone every day and I'll call back people.
Yeah, they're pretty modest families, so I will reach out to them and see if they
Absolutely.
have interest, but I thought
And
I
then
would take it upon myself to
What
make
I'll
sure
do
we're
is,
doing something.
also, Mike is the liaison for the Board of Ed and us. I'll let him reach out to the Board of Ed and see what they're doing, so that we don't do the same thing.
Fantastic.
Whatever they're gonna do.
And with the paving of the road, how should we handle that going forward?
Well, did we set up the program yet with the roads that are gonna be paved?
We haven't set the exact program, but I know what was recommended to the mayor and council this year did not include that section of Hudson Street. I've given you a list, Anthony, I can give you a list of the roads that we plan to pave this year. You know, it's always good to do what our DPW does, which is, you know, go out and evaluate all the roads, and especially the roads you know we're gonna pave, and compare them to your roads, just to understand the quality of the roads and why we're doing what we're doing. You know, that hasn't been decided yet by the mayor and council, which is why I didn't decide, I didn't share with you yet. But, you know, we have a list of, a draft list of proposed roads, but none of that's been agreed to yet. I mean, it's a bit premature right now, but if you'd like, I can share that.
Yeah, and if you could, since the road was, you know, taken up by the plows, if you could maybe have them go back down there, since the hot box is around,
Absolutely.
and they could take care of it for now.
Yeah, in the next week, we'll be doing a lot of pothole repair, the weather looks favorable.
Good.
I expect you'll see us down there.
Okay. The repairs are one thing, but like I said, the road hasn't been done since '89. And with your explanation to me around the 25-year period, we're now creeping into the 30-year period of the road not being done. The patches, while appreciative and taken into consideration, I feel like the road should be done completely. I want my kids to be able to skateboard down the road and not have to hit the crack and fall like some of the other kids have had the benefit of doing as well.
You'll speak to DPW.
Yeah, I'll share the list of proposed roads.
Okay. I guess if the proposed roads that you put out there, you're already stating it doesn't have our road on it. So we're still at a standstill here.
Well, the mayor and council has the opportunity, if they wish, to increase funding for paving, which would allow us to do more roads. We already had to cut the list down this year, but those are considerations that the mayor and council make a budget time. And, you know, they have a list of proposed roads that we, like, scheduled for repaving this year. They have an opportunity to explore those roads, to look at your road and make a decision.
So you guys will come down and inspect the road and then make that decision.
They have an opportunity.
Okay. I can reach out to you and we can understand when that inspection will be happening.
I did not say that there would be an inspection.
Ma'am, once he finishes, we'd be more than happy to have you come up and you can.
It's along the same topic. She's actually
I know that,
another
but we
resident
have a
on the road.
protocol how we run our meetings. You're up to talk. When you're finished, anyone else will come up and talk.
That's fine. Okay. All right, I'll let Aaron come up and talk, but I think I'll follow up with you so we can continue this conversation. I think it's important. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Ma'am, your name and address for our
My
record.
name's Erin Verdeska. I live on 51 Hudson Avenue, the same block as Chris Feldman. I just wanted to say that it's not just that there's potholes. There are deep cracks in the cul-de-sac. There's a lot of children that really can't play on the block anymore because of it. In the past, I've emailed, I've sent pictures of the road. It doesn't look like a suburban street. It's just, I really request, I'm happy to email the pictures if if you don't have time to come out.
We've come out. The DPW.
Thank you.
We're going to have the gentleman who is on the council who is in charge with the DBW, he's going to go out and look at the street on Hudson Avenue. We'll have Mike go out too. and then, we'll discuss all this. Anyone else from the public?
Al Colden, 34 Dante Place. You know, I've been living in this town for 53 years. Never once in all them years have I ever had a problem with the DPW cleaning my street from snow, from leaves. I commend them every year. They do a fantastic job. It's not easy doing what they do, getting up 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning sometimes. But, they go by my house sometime a little fast, a little slow. I don't care because by the end of the day, that road is done perfectly. And, I just don't see a problem with if they're, whatever they're doing. They're doing a great job, even with the leaves. That street's the cleanest I've ever seen it. And we had potholes too over the years, but in time, they're gonna pave your street, my street, your street, or whatever. But, I just wanted to get that clear that never had a problem in all them years with the Public Works. They do a great job, and, I commend them on the last snow. Even though they plow it up on my driveway, I clean it off. Hour later, they plow it back again, and I clean it off again. But that comes with the property, And I'm still shoveling that snow at my age, 40, 46.
Anyone else? If not, we're going to take a 2-minute break, and then we'll continue with our budget.